I now live close to the Atlantic Ocean, where fresh water meets the sea. Each day, the tide writes a story across the shore, a story of Earth's movement. Let me take you through a single day, from sunrise to sunset, and show how the rise and fall of the sea reveals our planet's rotation. At 6 a.m., the tide is high. The ocean stretches to its brim, covering the rocks and seaweeds. The water is calm but powerful, as if the sea has come closer to embrace the land. This fullness of the tide reminds me of the moon's steady pull, drawing the waters upward, proof of the invisible forces at play between the earth, the moon, and the sun. By 10 a.m., the tide has begun to lower. Seaweeds appear, clinging to rocks, shining in the morning light. Seabirds like seagulls and ducks gather, swimming around the shallows or pecking at tiny sea creatures uncovered by the retreating water. The seaweed benefits here. Waves bring in nutrients, and their exposure to sunlight fuels photosynthesis. The cycle of life becomes clearer, not just for plants, but for animals that depend on them. At 1 p.m., the tide is at its lowest. The beach stretches wide and dry, seaweed now fully exposed. What once swayed under the sea is now lying open to the air. This might look harsh, but seaweeds are specially adapted to survive. Their slimy coatings prevent them from drying out, and they soak in more sunlight. Even in this low state, life thrives, a quiet resilience taught by the rhythm of the tide. By 4:30 p.m., the sea begins its return. The waves roll forward again, inch by inch, covering the rocks and seaweed. It is as though the ocean breathes back in, reclaiming what it lent to the shore. At 5:30 p.m., the beach is almost brim full. The water is lively, pushing further inland. Fish return with the tide. Seabirds float once again, and the coast feels reawakened. Finally, at 6:30 p.m., the sea is closed up again, high tide. The ocean rests against the land, just as it did that morning. The full cycle has completed itself, and with it comes a reminder: this rise and fall, this constant rhythm is shaped not just by the moon and the sun, but by the steady rotation of our planet. Back home, I never saw this firsthand, but here, each day by the Atlantic, geography is no longer just theory. The tide itself is my classroom, and it proves, beautifully, endlessly, that the earth is always in motion,